Hello, I'm Irfan Kalender, and I am an 11th grade high school student in Turkey.
And I am Dehbi. I was born in Morocco, and I've been raised in Qatar, and I just finished my 12th grade.
We have become friends over the past several months, but until this week, we have never met in person.
Are you wondering how two youth that live 1,690 miles away from one another are here standing together on the TEDx stage outside of Boston?
A year ago, we never imagined we'd be here today, and look at us, we even dress alike.
Oh, yeah, really? We met and began collaborating online through Global Scribes, Youth Uniting Nation, a dynamic for youth by youth nonprofit designed to stem social isolation, to build cultural understanding, and most importantly, to create a worldwide virtual community through the power and the beauty of creative expression, and just by being entrepreneurial in our own lives.
We now regularly communicate and connect with friends, and we do mean friends around the world, 24/7 on our own time.
And how do we make these friendships? It's very simple by sharing our thoughts, personal highs, challenges, and struggles.
One of my life's greatest challenges that I've shared, I've been bullied, like many kids around the world. When I was a kid, I had a condition in my nose that made my voice higher pitched than the other voice. I was also really close to my grandmother. One summer, when I was about 9 or 10, I went with some of my older cousins to visit my grandmother in her small hometown in East Turkey, where she has a garden, trees, and some chickens. It's about 900 kilometers, which is 560 miles away from my home in Istanbul. It was all fun until my cousins made new friends there. Both of them were at the age of like 16 or 18, so they weren't really interested in making pillow castles or digging in soil to find worms or making it rain in the garden with the hose. So when they went out with their friends, I was all alone with my grandmother. She felt sorry for me. She told me to go to the only park in the small town to make some friends. I went to the park, but I wasn't quite sure how to make friends outside of school. But I saw two guys playing on a swing. I approached and talked to them. At first, they were interested in playing with me, but then one of them said to the other, "He's got a girly voice." They told me to go play with the girls. Well, I didn't understand it at first, but they repeated it and kept telling me to go play house and be the mom and kept making fun of me. I got it. It really hurt me. I faced this bullying issue for most of my life. Even later, when I was back home in middle school, there were bullies to make me feel down. They told me that I was ugly, nerd, antisocial, and so shy that I would never be able to make friends. I was isolated socially.
When I was a kid, I was very outgoing and social. I started singing at the age of 7, and that's where I found my gift. With my parents' support, of course, I got the chance to audition for my first choir, and since then, I never stopped singing. As I grew older, I found out about acting, and then I just decided to combine it with singing. Last year was an amazing summer for me. I got the chance to go to New York, where I did a lot of acting classes and performed off Broadway for the first time. And then I went to another incredible trip to Sri Lanka and Malaysia with my mom to visit my brother in August. And I ended this summer with a trip to my own country, which is Morocco, to see my family. But when I got back home, all the excitements of new and different ended. The stimulation was gone. I got sucked into a void. I stopped doing everything interesting in my life, stopped talking to my friends, temporarily closed all my social media accounts. I isolated myself from everyone and stayed in my room the whole time. I felt that people didn't really need my presence in life. I started complaining about the smallest pimple and symptoms that could pop into my body. I was consumed by thoughts and question. Am I going to die soon? Why do I have a pimple in my hand? Why did my eyes hurt me yesterday? Do I have a terminal disease? And I hid all these thoughts and worries from everyone. My family, however, noticed a huge difference, which really worried them. They were wondering, Where's Faris? Why is he in his room all day? But at least I got the chance to go with my dad to Paris, and he was working so hard to bring back the real Faris. And when I was there, I felt that there are some reason to get out of my room. But I still didn't really I didn't engage. After seeing everyone out there so happy, I just reminded myself that I can be happy too. I still had these negative thoughts in my mind where I didn't want my family and friends to worry about me. I didn't want anyone to worry about me. So when I got back to social media, I worked so hard to keep the same happy Ferris. And I didn't want anyone to notice any change. Well, I'm sure my close friends would have noticed that change. So for months, I kept to myself. I was socially isolated and depressed.
Our stories are two examples of a much broader issue. Social isolation is a problem for youth everywhere. According to Google, the best definition of social isolation comes from National Academy's Press, which describes it as the absence of social interactions, contact, relationships with family, friends, with neighbors on an individual level, and with society at large on a broader level. Isolation can be being chosen last for a team, having trouble finding a partner for an activity, having few classmates to invite to their birthday party, or not having anyone to play with during recess.
Social isolation has been shown in studies to correlate with a higher risk of radicalization, depression, drug use, suicide in youth, and even a higher risk of heart attacks for adults who experience social isolation as children. You'll also find studies that links overuse of screens like TVs, mobile phones, and computers with increases in suicidal thoughts and depression, and even feeling of loneliness leading to vulnerability. We want to suggest that these technologies, if used in the right way, could actually help us connect with our peers and provide an antidote to the problem of social isolation.
Remember how I told you I was lonely and shy? Well, I joined Global Scribes in 10th grade because I love the idea of meeting other young people from all around the world and learning how they live while practicing communicating in English about my interests in a place where there is no discrimination of nationality, race, gender, religion, or political ideology. From my first call with Global Scribes community a year and a half ago, I felt like I was home. My peers were so welcoming, and they trusted me with posting their words and work into social media, like Global Scribes YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I got to write a story and read it on my first video to share with other scribers, as we'll call around the world. Now, I'm one of the editors of our newsletter with over 900 subscribers. I regularly vlog in English, welcome new youth to the program, and teach virtual Turkish lessons. The vlogging helps me express my thoughts and get out of my shell without thinking too much. It has helped me to be less shy. I've also learned that others experience bullying too, even though they are from different countries. They are beautiful and handsome, but they're called fat and ugly. They are called nerd or loser. Who decides that? Some people really see the world differently than us. But thanks to these bullies, I learned that there will always be negative people in this world. Hearing other stories made me realize that I'm not alone and gave me perspective. In this universe together, we are just living on a rock and spinning in the ether. As we leave this world, neither wars nor triumphs will matter. They will all disappear. All this battle for being the best won't have any meaning. There is too much hurt in this world. As youth, we can and must work to stop it. And one way to do this is by connecting with peers through technology in a positive way.
Well, my experience is pretty similar to Irfan. While I was feeling anxious and depressed, one day I felt to myself, if I made up the sadness and it is inside me, then I could unmake it very easily. That's where I was introduced to Global Scribes as well by a friend. And by that time, I discovered the power of engaging with other youth through technology. I got the chance to meet new friends from different countries that shares the same interests in music and food. Then I wanted to meet another one and another. And I just decided to fight my depression through writing my challenges and writing my goals on some sticky notes, like study filmmaking, like learn 90 national anthems and break the world Guinness record, and like never stop singing. And I wrote all these goals on some sticky notes and randomly posted them all around my room. I know it sounds funny, but believe me, the smallest thing can make a difference. And I'm sure many of the people that I know are surprised that this happened to me. But this is a great example to raise awareness about all the other youth who are facing the same demons, who didn't find any person to share their story with. At least I got to share my challenges and struggles with my other scribers through real-time video calls online. Sharing is the reason why we're building Scribers World together. We are united virtually to lead and manage our create, connect, collaborate platform. We go beyond texting and social media to real-time video calls, but in a positive way, using the one thing we use every single day, which is technology. We share laughter, recipes, and music. I found friends like Irfan that shares the same interests as me, and this helped me to reconnect and inspired me to get out of my isolated bubble and just give my life a meaning.
Our friendship is only one of many that have been formed online between youth from different countries and cultures in Scribers World. Through our shared interest in building a better world and stewardship of our planet, we are youth uniting nations.
Not only does technology help us to connect, but we're owning it and using it to create. We're having the conversations and forming the friendships and driving the work that will end social isolation. And just by building peace in the future.
Imagine the possibilities of youth, of teens, all around the world, friends, growing into empowered, compassionate, effective, and connected community, corporate, country, and global leaders standing for a world of we, not me. Thank you.
Thank you.